Falls Park becomes a winter wonderland, the magical performances are underway, and a documentary about the football team.
All this and more coming up next on College Week.
From the McDonald Center on the campus of the University of Sioux Falls, this is College Week with Simon Floss, Irene Samaniego, and Sports with Dylan Dwyer and Paige Peterson.
Good morning, I'm Simon Floss.
And I'm Irene Samaniego. Thanks for joining us for our last show of the semester. So Simon, the cold weather, it's just, I can never get used to it.
I know,
There's
it's
no way.
ridiculous. I feel like I have a cold right now, the cold weather and the cold, making everything really, really uncomfortable for me.
Last time your hair froze over, did that happen again?
No, because I took your advice and showered before I went to sleep.
See?
You're smart.
I'm a very smart girl.
I should listen to you more.
Should. But changing subject, 2 weeks ago, USF had the first international mirror here on campus. I was able to sit down with the coordinator of all and have a few questions. Let's take a look. Hi, my name is Irene and I'm sitting here with Betsy. Betsy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. For all of you who don't know, 2 weeks ago, USF hosted their first annual International Week. And this girl over here is the reason why it happened. So Betsy, can you tell us more about International Week?
International Education Week is a week that's put on by the Bureau of Cultural and Educational Affairs. So it's a nationwide thing that happens. And this year was actually the 15th annual week that was put on by the Bureau, but the first time USF was actually participating. And so colleges around the country have activities on their campus during this week that just showcase their international students, and so domestic students can learn more about other countries across the world and just learn more about their peers' cultures.
Well, I know we had activities pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but my own personal favorite, and the one we're talking in the show today, was Thursday.
Yes.
We had meals from different countries. What countries were involved?
We had students from Ecuador, South Korea, and England all participated and made dishes from their country that are traditional dishes in their country, and we had over 20 USF students involved in tasting them with them.
What do you think is the importance of trying other countries' food?
I think it's just a great way, at least for me, food is a great way to connect with people. I always have great conversation around food. So getting a chance to actually eat foods from another person's country and talk about them and when they're actually eaten in their country, if it's traditional during our Ecuadorian drink that we had. It was traditional for a November drink, so it was perfect to have at the meal.
Great. So at first, were you scared? Were you like, what if I don't like it? What am I gonna do?
I was a little nervous, yes, because I'm not the most picky eater, but sometimes I'm just I don't want to do that. So I actually only had the opportunity to eat a couple things, but everything I had was delicious and it was wonderful.
All right, so what do you think was the students' outtake from this?
I think it was just great to get to know our international students better, and like I said before, just to learn more about their culture through food, and I think it was a great success. I hope next year when we do this again that there's more students, international students, who are willing to make a dish, even though it might not be completely different from an American meal, but just so that they have the opportunity to share their culture with our students.
All right, and one of my questions, you only had 20 students in there. Maybe for the future, are you planning on making it larger, maybe for the whole campus to try it?
That is, ideally that would be awesome, and if we could get the cafeteria to make traditional dishes, that would be the best case scenario, but I didn't want to put a super strain on our international students during the week because they still have all their educational commitments and that type of stuff, so I didn't want to have them make a meal for 100 people, and also just cost-wise that could be very ineffective, so we just wanted to keep it small for the first time, and we're hopefully going to grow it every year going forward.
So this international week's gonna
Yes. I'm meeting with Randy Nelson later this week, and we're gonna talk about what we can do better for next year and just to make it better every year.
All right, great. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Betsy. And
Thank you, Irene.
Next year.
All right.
Christian folk singer J.J. Heller is coming to perform at the University of Sioux Falls on December 14th. The concert will be held in the Jeske Auditorium at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $5 for students and $10 for faculty and staff. You can purchase tickets online at usiouxfalls.edu.
A wedding ring was found in a Salvation Army donation kettle in Sioux Falls last Wednesday. Kettle workers discovered the ring while counting the money and alerted the public yesterday morning. The ring was reunited with its Sioux Falls owner after a few phone calls.
And now we have the third installment of our series on how women are treated in the media. This week's video deals with advertising.
Well, when you think of women in media, you think of things that you've seen, and recently obviously there's that Kim Kardashian cover, and you know that her body was manipulated and just distorted in its way to look appealing to male viewers, but it's kind of also not the best view for women, and we're shown this distorted image of what we consider beauty, and but it's very skewed, and so women are portrayed as these sex figures and distorted and shaped in mysterious ways and just kind of overly edited and glazed in her sense, and just kind of setting this weird ideal for women in media. I would like to see in advertising more of women in raw and just kind of in that natural state, and having the photographer work with the lighting and just kind of making that beautiful and making her in her natural sense just being beautiful.
If you missed the previous video series, you can find them at www.usfcollegeweek.com. The annual USF Madrigal Dinners are in full swing. The 51st year of these dinners will be held on December 3rd at 9 p.m. and December 4th through the 6th at 6 p.m. USF students receive free admittance, so bring your friends along for dinner and a show.
The Kutai-kun investment portfolio topped $300,000 for the first time last week. The portfolio has seen incredible growth from when it started 2 years ago at $176,000. Kutai-kun gives the students real-world experience by teaching them how to invest money wisely, analyze financial markets, and decide on an investment strategy. Steve Horan is the club advisor and oversees 10 students. The mission of the USF Ukirvik School of Business is to develop Christian leaders who advance ethical business practices and foster a spirit of innovations in a global society.
Last week, we talked about Sioux Falls hosting a round of Division I women's basketball tournament, and it has been confirmed. 4 teams will be coming to play 3 games during the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 portion of the event, and the winner will head to Indianapolis for the semifinals. It will be the first Division I championship event ever held in South Dakota, and a strong promotion for Sioux Falls. The games will be on March 25th through the 28th, 2016 at Denny Stanford Premier Center.
And here's Tanner Wagnes with this week's pop quiz question.
Good luck.
Hi, I'm Tanner Wagnes with this week's pop quiz question. Get your popcorn ready, kids. What was the highest grossing film of all time? A. Gone with the Wind, B. Star Wars, C. Titanic, or D. Avatar?
Faith, family, friends.
I get out of bed in the morning to visit with students who, for the most part, are energized and enthusiastic and passionate about what they do. And there's nothing much better than that.
Student success motivates me. I think my biggest achievement is when students when they actually get it in class, and when I can see that turn into jobs when they get out of here, when they send me an email and say, hey Nick, I got this awesome new job. That's when it's beneficial for me.
You know, Tanner Wagnes, again, doesn't get any easier. Throws us a really good question. What do you think it is?
I'm going to go for Star Wars. That's a classic.
I'm going to go Titanic just because it has that excellent actor, Leo. Let's find out.
All right.
Hi, welcome back. Have you guessed the answer to this week's question? Was it A. Gone with the Wind, B. Star Wars, C. Titanic, or D. Avatar? Well, if you guessed A, you're spot on. If you look at the fiscal amounts each movie earned the year they were made, the number one slot would belong to Avatar, which was made in 2009 and earned $2,787,965,087. However, when the gross earnings are adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind, which was made in 1939, comes out on top. It actually made $20 million in its first year, but after inflation adjustments, it had a worldwide gross of $3,301,400,000. Bet you didn't know that. Roll the movie.
Well, with that answer, I think my passing grade for these pop quizzes might have been Gone in the Wind.
Nice one, good one. But if I would have seen the movie, I would have actually known. I've never actually seen that movie.
I honestly haven't either.
But maybe someday we'll get to watch it.
Movie night?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Don't go anywhere. Java Talk is coming up next with Drew Thomas.
Can I get back to you on that?
My favorite part about College Week is the opportunity to experience new things and just be creative.
My favorite part of College Week is that we get to play with all this fancy equipment. I love the cameras, I love our Mac lab, I love our GoPro. I think it's the coolest major ever.
I think I like the most that we get to kind of create whatever we want. Like, it all stems from our own ideas, and then we just build on that, but you also have people who help you develop your idea even better.
The people, the atmosphere, the coworkers. It can be a little annoying at times, but good people.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Drew Thomas, and today I'm here with the new Dean of Students, Corey Ross, who is going to tell us a little about himself and his new position. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Why don't you start off by telling the audience a little about your prior experiences and a little about your new position?
Okay. I grew up in Illinois, but moved after graduate school to Texas and spent 15 years at a private Christian school called LaTerna University. It's in Longview, Texas, east of Dallas, and went from a resident director and director of student activities to an associate dean for student life that oversaw the residence life program, and then to the dean of students role. So it's really, I moved from the same kind of position where I was the chief student affairs officer there to do that here at USF.
Cool. And what attracted you to USF?
Oh, a lot of things. Part of it is the geography. My wife is from northern Minnesota, and a big part of it was looking for places we could be a little bit closer to home for her and still be in a great environment for me to do student development. And so we found a place that had an American Baptist heritage, which is actually part of my own heritage. I grew up in American Baptist faith and was in youth boards and committees for that. And so that was some awareness of USF through that. Mm-hmm. And then came here, interviewed, and just saw the students, saw a very vibrant community, a place that really loves students. And that's something that's really important to me.
That's awesome.
And so it was a great fit right away.
Good. Is there anything that you've tried at other places that you want to try here, or vice versa?
Oh, sure. Well, a lot of places you just kind of you steal from each other, right? You go to another school and you see what they do, and you come back and you look at it and you see, would that fit here at USF? There are probably a couple things like that. And for example, student leadership. I mean, that's an area where we really focused quite a bit at LaTerna, and I would love to do that here. And that's really invest in the resident assistant structure and campus activities board and anything where we hire or elect students to participate. I would love to really work with maybe NSLS or some other organizations to enhance that, to really develop quality leaders. Because this is where we develop habits and commitments for a lifetime at the college age group. And so we just want to be able to really work together across campus, unified goals with student government. And so that'd be one area that I think we could maybe bring here.
Okay. Is there anything you would never try again?
That's a good question. Yeah, there's always things, every decision that you make, and student interactions you have and disciplinary decisions, because that's a big part of my role, is enforcement of policies and things like that. You always kind of wonder, I mean, you do it very prayerfully and try to figure out, is this the best choice for the campus and for the student and for everybody involved? And so I think there are always some of those things, you know, that you always question. And there are several events, like we had a giant food fight when I was a director of student activities.
Fun.
It seemed like a lot of fun. It sounded like a great idea. And one of the things that we got was a big vat of Crisco, like shortening, which looked like a lot of fun. I mean, it sounded like a lot of fun, and then 2 seconds in, somebody got it in their eyes and had to go to the hospital. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was not a great day.
Doesn't sound fun at all. Is there anything specific you hope to strengthen or change here at USF?
You know, really, there are so many good things here. It's not necessarily, I mean, maybe strengthening is a good word, because it's not like we're creating anything new. USF has a really strong commitment to helping students grow in their faith, a really strong commitment to community and good community here. So it's to me, it's really more about strengthening those things and maintaining all the good things, and then finding ways to really enhance those. So I think we're definitely on the right track, we want to just invest well in areas that are important to students. So we're wanting to do, one of the areas is a survey, wanting to do a campus life survey for residential students and commuter students to figure out exactly what it is that they enjoy, what are areas that they would enhance or maybe fix here on campus.
Yeah.
So that's important to us.
What is your favorite part about your job?
Oh wow, my favorite part, I mean, probably just the interaction with students, even discipline. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, most people would say I would never want to do what you do, Corey. But those are such meaningful points of contact with students that at really critical times for them, that I just love it.
And what are some challenges that you face in your position?
I think pretty consistently, you know, there's just a lot of people that need to be involved in decision making, and so collaboration is something that's so important, and yet it's probably the most difficult part, because you just have to get, you know, input from a lot of different areas and try to make the best decisions you can. So that might be one area. Another area is always just resources, and that's just finding the right amount and finding the right priority for resources and getting things to the right places and getting improvements in the right areas. So those are always some challenges, but we've been very blessed here and have been given the resources that we need to do what we can.
Well, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
We're running out of time, but what is one thing you want students and staff here at USF to know about you?
Oh, to know about me. I absolutely love people. I love interacting with them, and I want to do all that I can to help. Whatever it is. Sometimes it's very practical, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's emotional. Whatever it is, I'm here for others, and just want to invest well, and am always available for anything that anybody needs.
Good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. I'm Drew Thomas. Stay tuned for sports.
My favorite part about College Week is the opportunity to try so many different jobs and areas. You can work on anchoring, you can work the behind the scenes. It's a really good experience.
My favorite part about College Week is the way that it's ran and all of the new crazy things that we get to deal with and just kind of work with on the fly every day.
My favorite part about College Week is definitely the students. We almost kind of come a little family. We get along so well, and everyone just brings something new, and it's really fun.
The fact that every week we start out with nothing, and we kind of just create something that takes on a life of its own, and you never know exactly what it's going to be until you see the finished product.
And now, a look at sports with Dylan Dwyer and Paige Peterson.
Thanks, Irene. So, Dylan, I know the football team's on their way to a pretty big game they have coming up.
Yeah, it's a very big game. They're playing their first bowl game, and even though it's a little disappointing we didn't really get to see what they had in the playoffs this year, it'll still be nice to see what they can do in such an impressive game.
Exactly.
The University of Sioux Falls football team will play in their first ever postseason appearance since transitioning to Division II in 2011. The Cougars will face Central Oklahoma in the Mineral Water Bowl after being left out of the playoffs despite a 10-1 record. USF won all 10 of their games this year by double-digit margins and look to finish their season off on a high note. The radio broadcast will be on KWSN 1230 AM, and live video and statistics will be provided through the University of Central Oklahoma.
Our own Evan Gentry is an important member of the team, and we wish him and the rest of the Cougars the best of luck in their bowl game. As we already know, Evan has been talking to members of the football team. Today, the documentary was released, and here's a preview.
Throughout the season, that I think that's where the foundation of the love really started.
I think it all started just with spring ball. Coach Jackson, he laid out the first day, he's like, we need to have at least three takeaways of practice, and just stuff like that, where he kind of raised the bar, and at first like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be doing some up downs, because if we don't get those takeaways, but I think we only did up downs twice in the spring, and we made up for the takeaways every practice.
I can't wait to see that whole documentary. It's going to be great. We have a special guest here on Sports Today. This is a special occasion. He's been on the show before, but it's been a couple of years. Brian Kilpinski is going to join us today. How's it going, Brian?
Hey, good.
The men's basketball team has just started their season. They've gotten off to a bit of an interesting start. Why don't you tell us about your last game a little bit?
Yeah, we've had a little interesting start, rough start. Last game, we played Southwest Minnesota State. That was our first conference game. It was an away game. All conference games are really competitive. All games are going to be close, down to the wire. Playing that game, we kind of realized how together we have to be if we want to be successful, both on offense and on defense.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to watching a lot of basketball games this year, especially since it's your senior year and your last year to play. So good luck for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
The USF basketball team returns home this weekend to host their NSIC home opener at the Stewart Center on Friday. They will face Upper Iowa at 8 p.m. and then battle Winona State on Saturday at 6 p.m.
The USF women's basketball team is off to a hot start, winning their first 5 games of the season. The most recent win came against Southwest Minnesota State. Taylor Barshow led the Cougars with 24 points and 12 rebounds as the Cougars dominated. 13 different Cougars scored in the game as they rolled the victory, 91-50. The Cougars return to action on December 5th and 6th when they host Upper Iowa and Winona State at the Stewart Center.
Billy Brockmuller was named the NCAA Elite 89 winner for the 2014 men's cross-country season. The NCAA made the announcement last night at the 2014 Fall Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. This marks the 3rd time Brockmuller has won the highest academic and athletic honor the NCAA bestows upon its athletes. The Elite 89 award is presented to the student athlete with the highest cumulative grade point average participating at the final site for each of the NCAA's championships. Majoring in both applied mathematics and computer science with minors in accounting and theology, Brockmuller holds a 4.0 GPA. He previously earned the honor at the 2012 NCAA Cross-Country Championships and the 2014 NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. Brockmuller has hopes of repeating as an All-American in cross-country this year as he leads the 12th-ranked Cougars into the NCAA Championships on Saturday. And that's all for sports. Thanks again for joining us, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
And that's all for this last College Week edition. I'm Irene Samaniego.
And I'm Simon Floss. Have a great holiday, and thanks for joining us all year.
Merry Christmas!